day, did you ever want to just plop down behind the driver's seat and let the car take you home? Well, that may not be so far-fetched, thanks to some folks at Carnegie Mellon University. There's a lot of new technology developing, not only across the nation, but also right here in Pittsburgh. Today we're going to be meeting a graduate student, Todd Yoakum, who's been working on the NavLab 2. Tell us, what is the NavLab 2?
Well, the NavLab 2 is a converted Army Humvee that we've outfitted with computers. The computers look at the scene and tell the vehicle basically how to turn its steering wheel.
It drives the vehicle?
Yeah, it drives the vehicle on this road, or it can actually be, the systems can make it go around obstacles or not hit people. But today we're just going to drive up and down this paved path.
We're going to get to see it.
Yes, we'll get to see it in action.
You know, it's really hard to believe for people like me that something can actually drive me around. That's great.
Yeah, it's an evolving technology. We're now getting to the point where it's getting solid enough so that we may be able to use these systems to warn drivers when they fall off the road. Not to take over, but to say, hey, you're drifting up the road, you know, wake up, or stop fiddling with the radio.
Oh, that's terrific. How long has this been evolving?
The whole project started about 10 years ago. This particular vehicle has been under development for the past 3.5, 4 years.
And have you been working on it most of that time?
Yeah, I got here about 4 years ago, and this vehicle was just coming into action then, and I've been working on it since.
Now, is this something for the military? Is that what it's being developed for?
Yeah, the initial funding was for the military, but now the Department of Transportation has become very interested in this type of technology, so they're starting to pick up the funding and looking a little bit more towards commercialization and you know, the real people, the people in our country to use instead of just the soldiers.
Is this the prototype right now? Is this the only one like it?
This is one of about 5 in the country. Red Zone Robotics in Pittsburgh has another one, actually has 2. Martin Marietta in Denver, Colorado, who we are partners with, also have a couple. And we're basically porting our technology out there, and they're integrating it with a bunch of other technologies from other universities to have a big integrated demo of what these vehicles can really do.
When do you see this being made available to people?
I think the first driver warning systems could be available within the next 5 to 7 years. As far as actually driving the vehicle, I think that's further down the road. Not necessarily for technological reasons. Legal issues about whose fault is it when the computer is steering kind of crop up.
But someday.
Someday, I think definitely we'll have vehicles that drive by themselves.
Super. I'll look forward to it. Let's take a look inside.
Okay, great. The system is looking through a camera above the passenger seat at the scene in front of it. It's then taking a section of the image that's denoted by the red rectangle and giving it to the system's neural network. Now, the neural network has been trained by watching me drive to mimic my actions. So it's producing a point to drive over 12 meters in front of the vehicle in the middle of the road. And that point is what you see right here, okay? Now, a similar point when we drive that you'll see moving is this blue one. And that blue one will basically mimic where the steering wheel's turning. And as long as that stays in the middle of the road, we know we're going to be able to drive okay.
So you do it first, and then the computer knows how to do it?
Right. Before you got here, I drove the vehicle up this path, and it learned basically from random start how to drive for this particular path, how to map an image, which is the pre-processed image in the lower right corner, to a steering direction. And after about 3 or 4 minutes, it'll learn how to do that, and then we can just pull out the auto button and let it go on its own.
So we're in the back of the truck now. What's back here? What is all this?
Well, basically we have a bunch of computers. We have 2 computers, Larry and Mo is their names, that do perception processing. They look at the images and simulate the neural network that our system uses and produce the output. We have a couple other computers. One is named Curly, so we have the 3 Stooges back here, that actually take care of low-level things like where to turn the steering wheel given this desired location, and eventually how to set the brakes and the throttle. 2 of the computers have digitizers on them, and that's the piece of equipment that allows the computer to see the image. It puts it into a form that the computer can understand. Also back here we have all kinds of other video equipment so that we can take any camera on the vehicle and send it to any computer. We have a VCR so we can tape our runs for conferences and things. And we also have the control for a pan tilt mount. We can mount a camera on this mount, and then the camera can be told to point in different directions, and that's something we're just starting to use a lot. The vehicle has all onboard power. We have a Honda generator that powers everything typically. Also, we have a very good positioning system It can read signals from the global positioning satellites and tell us where we are anywhere in the world.
Oh, wow.
So that's
is amazing.
really cool. That's one thing
Yeah.
that we use quite often, not so much on this vehicle, but on our other ones. Then coming farther up, we have a seat that an operator or a programmer can sit in to debug and to monitor his programs. If that is the case, so we still always have someone behind the wheel. All of this that you see here, we're currently working on putting into one package about the size of a pizza box, using things like Pentium processors and PowerPC chips, the kind of computers that all of us have at home. So one day, you won't need a Humvee to be able to drive by yourself. You'll just have a box that you can plug in and maybe even use it at night to do your taxes or other stuff, let the kids play games on.
Well, before I take my debut drive, I wanted to ask you, I saw the steering does itself. What about the brakes, the gas, the pedals?
The pedals, the brakes, and the throttle are actuated. Currently, they haven't been tested well enough, and because we drive fairly fast, up to 25 miles an hour on this type of road, we want to be safe, and we don't think it'd be safe if an untested system was controlling the brakes and the throttle.
Is it something to look forward to at some point?
Yeah, at some point, we'll definitely have the throttle and the brakes controlled as well, and have something like an automatic cruise control on a vehicle like this.
Oh, good. I like cruise control. And you mentioned safety. That's very important, obviously. How do you test that?
Well, we're very lucky that the city of Pittsburgh has let us use Flagstaff Hill and the bike path here to do our initial tests. After we feel the system is robust enough, we can just go up to Shenley Drive.
Okay.
And during the day, one thing we have to worry about is golfers, really. And that's where we do some of our first on real road experiments.
Okay.
And usually that's a good proving ground to see what capabilities we have.
Super. Good. All right, well, I'm set.
All right, let's go. Brake.
Okay.
Throttle, just like normal.
All right.
All you got to do to start it
Yeah.
is pull this button out.
Okay.
The wheel grabs hold. All right.
All right.
Put the emergency brake down. And if you grab the wheel, you'll be able to overpower it.
Do this.
Pull it out.
Pull it out.
All right.
This is like riding your bike with no hands when you're a kid. Oh my. You're very trusting, you know that, Todd. I don't even know what this piece of equipment is worth. I don't want to know.
Looks like you're doing fine.
Okay. Now these are the trees, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go very slowly.
So, yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Doing good. Let's give it a little gas.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right. And big curve.
Oh, goodness. There's Jimmy and Ross. And I think at this point we'll let Todd go ahead and take over. Well, that was interesting.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did.
Good.
That was fun. That was very different, very easy, very simple. And someday we'll actually maybe get to buy one of these.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think in the next few years we'll keep making it easier for everyone to use, and
Yeah.
something similar will be in all our cars.
Well, I'll be waiting for it.
All right, great.
Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our show today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.